this has been basically in the limbo from 2002 to around 2017. Then suddenly China said, we're interested in a code of conduct.
Okay.
But this was a year after our arbitral tribunal on the United Nations Law of the Sea came out with the ruling that China's expansive claim in the South China Sea simply doesn't have any legal nor historical basis.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is basically a tactical concession on the part of China when it suddenly told the ASEAN countries, I'm open for a negotiation for a code of conduct.
Okay.
But of course, the difference between the code of conduct and the arbitral ruling is the fact the arbitral ruling basically states what's the cause of this tension in the South China Sea.
Right.
It's the unlawful expansive claim of China. This is not touched by the code of conduct.
Oh.
The code of conduct merely states the need to manage the dispute, but it does not tackle the source of dispute, which is Chinese maritime expansion in the South China Sea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first issue there. So the Philippines, and recently supported by Indonesia, indicated that if there's any code of conduct, it should be based on the United Nations Law of the Sea.
This the Chinese won't agree.
They won't agree. Second, of course, is the issue of the geographic scope.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese position is that it should only cover areas of the South China Sea that's not, under Chinese jurisdiction.
Which is nothing. Where is it?
Because China claims 90% of the South China Sea. So it will not apply to waters that the Chinese considers as theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So the third issue there has something to do whether it's binding or not. The Chinese position is that it should be voluntary. The ASEAN position is it should be binding.
There's no point making it voluntary then. I mean,
and the fourth, of course, is we know for a fact that this is a Chinese ploy.
mm-hmm.
It's a Chinese gambit
Mm-hmm.
because the Chinese is asking a concession from the member states of ASEAN. We want any military exercise to be conducted by the 10 member states with any external actor should be reported to ASEAN and China. So in a way, this would give China a veto if we will conduct military exercise, let's say, with the Americans, with the South Koreans, with the Japanese, with the Australians, even with India.
Mm-hmm.
So China will have a veto on the type of military relations we will have with what China would call the external powers.
Why would somebody agree to that?
Yeah, no way. Yeah, that's basically what everybody now is saying, that this is simply a Chinese ploy.
Mm-hmm.
While it strengthens its control over the South China Sea, then it's giving a false hope to ASEAN, the possibility of a code of conduct,
Mm-hmm.
which will actually amount to nothing.